Hello race fans, Keith Collentine here. The 2019 Formula 1 season is done, it's over, it's history. Let's talk about what's going to be new for F1 in 2020. Starting off on the driver's side of things, where it's pretty much a case of status quo. 18 of the 20 drivers will not change seats during the off-season, but 2 of them will, and here's who they are. Esteban Ocon will make his return to Formula 1 following a year on the sidelines. He enters the Renault in place of Nico Hülkenberg, who's lost his drive in Formula 1. Also, no longer on the F1 grid in 2020 is Robert Kubica. His place at Williams will be taken by the only newcomer to the grid in 2020, rookie Nicholas Latifi, the Canadian driver. Also changing at Williams this year, they've announced that Dan Ticktum has joined them as one of their development drivers. Dan Ticktum, of course, was previously a member of Red Bull's Young Driver program. The only other significant change as far as the teams and drivers are concerned is that we'll have 2 Alphas on the grid this year. In addition to Alfa Romeo, Toro Rosso has renamed itself as AlphaTauri, which is the name of a fashion brand run by Toro Rosso owners Red Bull. But that's all the changes as far as the drivers and teams and engines are concerned. A little bit more has changed as far as the calendar is concerned for the 2020 season. The Hockenheimring has gone, but we have a brand new venue to get excited about, Vietnam's Hanoi Street Circuit, which will hold its first round of the championship in April. This is a particularly interesting one because it's the first time since Formula 1's commercial right holders Liberty Media, who took over the sport in 2016, have introduced a completely new race and a completely new circuit to the championship. And Formula 1 also claims to have got involved in the design of this track in a way that hasn't really happened with previous circuits, in the name of creating the best possible spectacle and a race that's going to be lively and exciting. So there's a lot riding on that one. A very different addition to the championship in 2020 is the return of Zandvoort. This is, of course, the historic home of the Dutch Grand Prix. It was first on the F1 calendar in the 50s, and it held races up until 1985. The track has already been changed quite a bit since then, and it's undergoing some further revisions to bring it up to spec for modern Formula 1 cars. Anyone who's seen a race at Zandvoort will know it is a fantastic circuit with lots of undulation and lots of fast, challenging corners. Where it has been found wanting, particularly for faster single-seater cars, is in terms of overtaking. It's always been difficult to pass there. However, some changes are being made to the track for Formula 1's arrival later this year, including, as race fans revealed earlier in 2019, the addition of a banked final corner, which is its hopes will make it easier for drivers to make overtaking moves into that distinctive first corner Tarzan. As regular race fans readers will know, there's going to be a huge change to the Formula 1 rules in 2021. As a result of that, not an awful lot has changed as far as the regulations are concerned for 2020. Furthermore, many of the changes which were discussed for this season weren't approved. For example, there were discussions about adding a 4th round of qualifying, Q4. That's not gone ahead. Liberty Media was very keen to introduce qualifying races at 3 rounds next year, but they couldn't get the unanimous approval of the teams that they needed. And there were also discussions about requiring drivers to make 2 mandatory pit stops per race. That also did not go ahead. So what has changed as far as the rules are concerned for 2020? Well, very little. We saw some fairly strong penalties for jump starts and weighbridge violations during 2019. Those have been softened for 2020. The checkered flag will once again be the official signal that brings a race to an end. You may remember that's because of the problem at the Japanese Grand Prix in 2019, which led to that race being cut short by a lap. And with the calendar rising to a new record of 22 races, teams will be given 1 extra MG UK, 3 for the total season per driver. And there could still be further changes to the rules before the season begins. Remember, it was not long before the start of the 2019 season that the FIA approved the rule introducing a bonus point for fastest lap. As always, keep an eye on racefans.net for the latest news on what's changing in Formula 1. Thanks very much for watching. Make sure you keep up to date with us on @racefans.net on Twitter and Facebook throughout 2020. And of course, hit that subscribe button at the top right now so you don't miss our next YouTube video.